Alright, so drifters, just remember all protocols being observed. Helmets, all helmets has been worn. We know the drift. The marshal up at the pit area who's sitting down on the cockpit pillar. Asking him to control the corners of the pit stance. Let him stay behind the cockpit pillar. So, Roger Hutcheon, all I want to say, me again, yes, I'm back again with a new build. So we're trying to do the thing a little bit differently this time. In terms of the last time we were here, we're looking at the S13, but I've upgraded to a street project, JZX100, as people know, Chaser or Mark II. I needed something for the street because, as we know, the S13 is, the red woman is for kill, right? She don't play and then she hot and sweaty, but this one is AC, and to be quite honest, it was a tribute to the latest and greatest, Kerry Phillip. This is actually a replica, or it's supposed to be a replica of his JZX90. The JZX90 was, I think, one of his iconic cars. He had two iconic cars. The 86, which people may or may not know, that was one of the first real authentic drift cars. Kerry had a couple, but that one and then the Chaser. The Chaser changed a couple colors, but the last iconic version of it was gray, racetrack wheels, big wing. So I did the same thing. Kerry and I went back to designing cars from since we were playing Forza and Need for Speed and Gran Turismo, right? So you always have a plethora of cars on those games, but we were always willing to talk about designing a car. So for me, this version of his car was, I believe, was the best, and I just replicated it with subtle differences. So he had louvers on the fenders, I put a D-Max grill. He had a big wing, I put a Voltex. So, but same rims, same gray, same everything. It's a 2J powered vehicle. GE though, it's a non-turbo that we turbocharge. It's powered by Max ECU, Ultimate Sport Tuning, tuned by Big Papi Racing. And the engine was actually head gasket and everything by Boost Factory. Other than that, racetrack wheels, the wheel sponsor on it. And also too, we have Motul power in it with VP Racing and Maguire's as well. So I mean, it was a combination, like to thank all the partners that came on board for this event. So you will see this car more streetable. It may do some exhibition runs, but it's to keep me cool in AC. That's what it's for. So for me, that's a good question. I think for me, the variation is with the S chassis is a short, snappy chassis, and I've always been driving short cars. First car was a KE70, very short, very snappy. The S13 was always that case. I had a medalist for a very short time, but never really got to sit down with it. But this car is excessively big. So this and the Titanic is 4 inches different. That's to tell you how big this car is, right? And literally, when you put this car next to Devon Supra, it dwarfs it because it's so long and so wide. So for me, it is nice. It actually has a nice soft transition, but it is weight. So you have to know it's a different drive. So you're not gonna jump in this and feel it's just so you're gonna send it through. Even I had difficulty with it adjusting, and when I would have went into it at racetrack, lose the back bumper because the average is different. So it's something that you need to acclimatize to. Other than that, being I think one of the JDM icons right now, is a nice car to own. It's really comfortable and it's a cruiser, but again, you step on it and it'll give you what you need. Good question. So if I had to say competition-wise, I'll always choose the S chassis. That's my preference, right? But as a street project, which you could carry somebody, slide it and then come back home, this is it. The diff is bulletproof, the engine combination is also bulletproof, so it's a more reliable car from a comfort perspective. Yeah, your AC and everything like that, but S chassis for me is business. Oh yes, so I would like to personally big up again, the up-and-comers, right? So I always try to keep on the ball. I haven't drifted for a while, so I'm knocking off real rust right now. But of course, Devon has continued to climb the ladder. You have people that I give kudos to, like Dario, because Dario is, for me, a driver. You have Painless Performance. And I put Brian, for me, in that category because he's young, but he understands car dynamics. So he's going to be very good at what he does. You have Mafia Pa, and Tyreek. I mean, literally, those fellas are proximity giants right now. They're putting it on the door, they're putting it on the clipping points. So I think, just generally, and we were having a conversation with an executive from the FIA, and they looked at us in Trinidad as, I would say, pinnacle in drifting within the Caribbean. So those guys doing a good job in carrying the flag, and I think with more seat time, they're just gonna get better. You see the tandems getting closer, you see the proximity getting a bit crisper. So I think it's just over a period of time, you're gonna see an evolution to a driver that is just top notch and seeing what you're seeing on the outside. Right, and I was asked this question a while ago, and for me, I think the confusion sometimes is that you have to have one of these or the S13 to start, right? You don't. Like I tell anybody, buy the cheapest chassis out there. When I say cheapest chassis that you could put together, A31, C33. You don't need a 25 with 400 horsepower, you need a RB20. You need a LSD diff. If you want to have handbrakes, it helps, but literally you just need the basics. And you could slide that car around from now. You could play with tire pressure, so you don't need all this horsepower to go around the track. There are simple things you could do, you know. A set of cheap max speed and coilovers, $3,500, $4,000 for stability and any game. All the car really needs is a clutch for grip. You need cooling, so you need a good radiator to make sure you could run laps one after the next, and I make one lap and stop. And literally that and a decent diff in the back there that don't open and close, you're good to go. Welded or LST is up to you. But that's a budgeted build that anybody could do. Well, nah, just kidding. But no, but sim drifting is for me is where the new age bracket is. You see it in Formula 1 too, right? They have Formula 1 drivers or sim drivers on the Formula 1 platform doing incredible things and then transitioning to a Formula 1 car and actually being successful, right? So we see the Naris. There's a guy that actually designed the track for racetrack, for the track fest. Christian, excellent sim driver as well too. And for me, I think it allows them to transition into motorsport. Where I won't say gross is, but where my concern is to make sure that there's a transition. It's like karting and then transition into circuit racing, right? The sim is supposed to be the cheaper gateway to get accustomed to the pedals, the transition. So when you jump in that car, you don't wreck it in the first instance. So for me, it is a feeder. It may have professional arms of it, but it's supposed to transition drivers from the drift rig into the real thing. I think what we're doing right now, so you've seen a lot of people coming out and trying to do recreational and competition. Recreational sometimes has a connotation to have a competition in it and throw money at it. And there's a difference between one and the next, right? So a TITASA FIA event is something that you get accredited for as a driver. You can nationally get recognized. That's the difference between that and somebody a promoter throwing a drift show or a drift event or a drift competition. It's two totally different things. But sometimes the money trumps the ability to get accredited. Once you start on a professional motorsport directive like a Carter or a circuit racer like a Frankie Bodram or a Ravi Singh or Ronald Wootman, those fellas have been able to go places because they have been accredited under the racing system. And although you don't have a direct monetary gain, the fact of the matter is that your accreditation or your driver CV is continuing to grow. Championship wins, second place, you might be able to go to Barbados, Jamaica, wherever to drive, and those things put more dynamics on you as a driver than just competing in a, I say mix both of them, you know, not one over the next, you know, but you have to see the benefit in one and you have to see the benefit in the other. Recreational driving for me is real cool. Like for instance, War Meals was a breeze. I just wanted to go and drive and get put on a show. But competition for me is when it gets a little bit more serious. Boy, to be quite honest, it started. So when we went to Tobago, this car was binding brakes wise, so you had to stop, brake the system every so often. But what it needed was a little attention. Those two cars were getting attention at the same point in time. I have a real good team around me. Dev, Fareed, Chris, Dylan, you know, Chucky and Lenny. Them fellas really support me. But it needed a little love and attention, and when it went to Tobago, it get the Tobago love, and it come back working. Like I went to work with this car today, and it was crazy. So it started with a little bit of, you know, nicks and knacks, but it worked itself out. Right now I'm pumping in easy, so I'm real happy. Right. So it's sometimes, I mean, ultimately, if you ask me seriously what I like to do, I love to drive, right? But the administrative position that I have in TITASA allows me to create the segue for the other drivers. It's not for me, you know, because organizing events is to make sure most of the events I have organized in the last 2 to 3 years, they have participated, I haven't. So for me, it's really creating for a sport that I love, there's a way forward. And not only for that, but for drag racing, for circuit racing, because I'm involved in everything. So for me, while I don't want people to get the wrong idea with me competing as well as, I try to keep it separate. But my heart is in driving. I'm a driver by nature. So this for me is just administrative work. I'm good at what I do, and I just do it to support not only the local culture, but motorsport in general. Rest of 2022, Dev and I as a team, we have some new sponsors coming on board, so we have to keep them happy. And I think we really want to be out there. The Drift Shenanigans brand has been relaunched, and I want you guys to kind of pay attention to it. We have new projects coming, we have shenanigans coming, so there's a lot of things that we have as a brand. And again, for me, it's a local brand by local people that you know. And not putting it out there, but we're really looking for the support of us, which is Trinidad and Tobago, to support the brand and moving it forward. So therefore, we could do the things necessary to bring the spotlight here. And by extension, it's not only myself and Devon, but anybody that is affiliated. So again, we see the young talent, and we want to make sure that they have a platform to work on as well. So entertaining, we have about 3 to 4 events for the rest of the year. I'll try to be at all of them. Other than that, 2022 is really to get the car ready for a full season. 2023, sorry. Definitely. We have something coming in 2023. Definitely. Sure, I don't want to speak to it just yet, but I will definitely provide FC Media with an update. As soon as it is materializing, I will provide it with an update. But this is all inclusive. This is not a Roger, Devon or Roger alone. This is all inclusive. And this is a proper representation of what I believe the local talent is. Because I say we've been looked at in a very positive light, and I want us as drivers and sportsmen and women to be able to represent in the right way. Fans, well, I mean, you all have been down for a while, up and about again, and on the 18th, I want to let you guys know, come out and support the drifters, because we're going to put on a show. I come in, I ain't care if I go back on a record, but we come in and we jamming real hard. I'm looking to put it on doors, so for those who ain't seen me for a while, we'll see the Red Woman in action. And yeah, we're gonna take it up a notch, definitely sure. I'm bringing all 6 pistons, 600, I'm bringing it all. So make it happen. Shout outs, first and foremost, FC Media. Again, you guys always bring a different taste of car culture from the first episode to this one.
You understand, big city guys, you don't know what I like.
Culture in Trinidad and Tobago stay focus on point, right? I'm giving everybody a voice. So I want to thank you guys immensely for that, and keep doing a great job. Other than that, wifey, family, friends, loved ones, you know, the team, like I mentioned, Chucky, Jerry, Lenny, Chris, Dylan, Dev, Farid, everybody that comes and just pitches in. We can't forget the man, the one of us, I believe he's not the mechanical guy, but he's super supportive and administratively he's brilliant. We call him Jeev. He has always been there for us. So again, the team is small but it's powerful, and I want to thank everybody, and by extension the relationship with the drifters, because it has been topsy-turvy, yeah, but definitely the drifters have been coming together, sorting out all the little discrepancies, and it looks like we have one team, one TNT team. Yeah.